Hello, my name is Joy Murray, and I'm here to talk with you for a few minutes about the book Humble Inquiry by Edgar Schein, The Gentle Art of Asking Instead of Telling. This is in regards to effective communication with family members, people in your community, and especially in work environment as we see it changing here in America from individualistic to more cooperative teamwork. There are many important issues in this book. I'm only going to focus on a few today. Those would include less telling, more asking, how to ask and how to listen. We're also going to talk a little bit about the culture of America and how it was set up to be so individualistic and a culture of telling and how we can change it. Okay, so less telling. Now that is a very difficult aspect for many Americans, especially in the work setting, because we are socialized as young people that asking questions and not knowing all the answers looks weak. And we are taught that those people who have the knowledge have the power. And we want to be those people. We don't want to ask questions, we want to tell people things. We hold such values as freedom, equality of opportunity, individual rights, and our other constitutional rights. But we also have a strong background of being individualistic, competitive, and very pragmatic. Those are some things that Schein talks about in the book. As Americans, if we look through our literature historically, we see a lot of stories about the rugged individual coming in and being the hero, or the Horatio Alger stories of being a poor orphan and coming into America and becoming a very important and rich person. And he did it all by himself. And that's something that we are supposed to look up to and want to be like in American society. You'll pull yourself up by your bootstraps. So we don't like to ask questions. We want to be strong, and we want to be the leader, and we see as asking questions as weak. Okay, we need to learn to do more asking. This is what Schein talks about as humble inquiry, and that's the basis of the book. We need to know what kind of questions to ask, when to ask questions, and how our attitudes when asking questions really colors what the response will be from whoever we're asking the questions from. Schein talks about asking open-ended questions, probing questions that can help build the relationship that will bear fruit through cooperation and investment, whether that be through people in the community, or a worker and an employee, or people in your family. Building relationships through asking questions, not just assuming that you know what this person wants or what this person is like, but leaving some space open to asking the right questions. Here's an example that has happened in my workplace that I thought we could talk about. So I have a manager, and this manager has asked me to create a new streamlined scheduling system. He has not asked me in a probing, open-ended kind of way, but asked me such as, it's time for you to do this. I need you to do this. Take care of this task. Now, if he had talked with me and asked me questions about this, he would know that my scheduling task relies on other people and their timelines, and that these are the issues ahead of me and blocking me. However, the manager comes up and says, this needs to be done in this amount of time, please do it. So if he took the time to ask me the questions, do some humble inquiry, then he would know that I'm just not being lazy, that there are several things in my way. So if he had humbled himself, asked me the right questions, I would feel comfortable talking with him, and we could come together to create a system that would have my buy-in and his buy-in, and then we could solve the issue. Okay. Schein talks about doing a better job of listening and acknowledging. Um, I read an article from therepublicmanager.org by Patrick Malone, Ruth Zaplin, and they talk about taking a pause in our assumptions and becoming mindful. Ask other people questions and learn from their realities. By humble inquiry of others, we can build on our relationships and build trust. When we meet new people, we usually sum them up very quickly and figure out where we all belong in the pecking order. What Malone and Zaplin talk about is taking time, taking a pause, and dropping our assumptions and start to open up and ask some of those humble inquiry questions that Schein had talked about. This article is called The Power of Inquiry. Talks about the curiosity of asking other people about themselves also leads to more inner curiosity, and it leads us to more vantage points of the world, whether in our work or in our home. It can only make us better people if we actually learn from other people. We ask them the right questions, we open them up, we learn about who they are, what they can help us with, and what we can help them with. Okay. The article claims that this cycle of asking and listening actually helps us gain cognitive empathy. It's a very good thing. Another thing, and maybe the last thing I want to talk with you about today, is the culture of that our culture, the American culture, values task accomplishments over relationship building in the work environment. And this is something that we definitely need to change as we become more international. Often in the work environment, team building, committees, and other dreaded group work type things is seen as a waste of time. We would rather just get to the point, tell us what we need to do, let us go off on our task and finish it alone so that we can be judged by our boss and get that promotion by ourselves and move on. I know that when I'm in a class and they talk about group work, I often think, oh man, not this again. You know, I have to deal with this teammate and that teammate, and it's going to pull me down. And instead of taking the time to build a relationship with these people and learning what I can build on from them and what they can build on from me, instead I automatically think, oh geez, this is going to be a pain in the butt. Okay. And the other thing about teamwork is we like to be graded individually as workers or even in classes. We want our boss or our professor to know what we did personally so that we can be given the pat on the back that we think we deserve. And in teamwork, we fear that some of that might be lost in translation. Okay. So basically, Schein talks about teamwork not being trusted. Teamwork not being trusted. Teams are seen as a way to prove our management skills. So someone might take a look and think, well, I can be part of this team, but I'm going to be the leader of this team so that my professor can see that Joy deserves the A where everyone else gets an A minus, or we're the manager, or we're in a team at work and we want to make sure that our boss knows it's us that's taking care of things so that we can get that promotion up the ladder. It's so important in American society. We are judged by individual work that we do. Our promotions are based on what we do, not on what a team does. Still in America, that's the way it is. I think, though, that things are changing through new technologies, through more cooperation internationally. We see what other countries are doing, and we see that in Germany and France, perhaps, they work more as a team to complete the task. And when they come to us, to talk with us, we're more individualistic, we work in silos, and we're not as giving. I see in elementary schools, and as early as kindergarten actually, where kids are starting to be grouped instead of sitting in rows and depending on themselves to answer questions. Now they're groups in groups of 3s or 4s, and they're working cooperatively to solve a math problem or complete the English assignment or whatever it is. So our kids, since about the 1990s, have been working together more cooperatively in schools, and they're going to be bringing this into the workplace to be able to work together and to solve problems and to build the relationships that are important.